Hey everyone, and welcome to Star Wars Lore. Today we'll be discussing and reviewing the latest Star Wars Rebels episode, Double Agent Droid. But first I wanted to give a shout out to another channel, Eckhart's Ladder. This channel has some great Star Wars videos, and I wanted to send some love that way. We just connected, and his channel is pretty awesome. So be sure to check it out here. Alright, so let's dive into the episode and then get into some discussion. Basically, Chopper, AP-5, and now Lieutenant Wedge Antilles go on a mission to Killen Station to retrieve clearance codes so the Rebellion can attack Lothal. Chopper and AP-5 fight, and they are super annoying with the anything you can do, I can do better rehash. We then meet an ISB cell, that's the Imperial Security Bureau. It's basically an NSA, kind of CIA group for the Empire. And they're aboard an Imperial listening ship. This was the first on-screen appearance that I can recall, so this was pretty new and exciting. We see that the ISB crew is outfitted with cyborg constructs similar to Lobot from Empire Strikes Back. In canon, these were implanted into the back of the skull, allowing for quick calculations and communications. The implants traded personality for productivity, which is why many of the crew are monotone and very boring in their responses. Inside the station we see a mouse droid, which are always fun to see. The ISB crew identifies Chopper as a spy, and while Chopper is accessing a terminal, they basically do an override of his programming and take control of him. AP-5, meanwhile, gets the codes from the station. The ISB controller, the main guy, is voiced by Josh Gad, which is kind of cool. But for some reason, he decides not to inform Admiral Thrawn or anyone, so he can first capture them and then get all the credit. Which I kind of thought was overused by so many bad guys in film in general. So I was really kind of like, meh, like, everyone does that. It's really annoying. You know, I thought you were supposed to be super smart with the computer, right? Anyways, Chopper starts acting weird as the ISB is manually controlling him, and AP-5 points it out to Wedge back on the shuttle. Wedge just thinks it's more of them fighting and kind of puts it off. And then, the refresher. We get to see a bathroom on a starship for, I think, the first time in Star Wars, which is kind of cool. A sink a few weeks back, and now bathrooms. Star Wars is coming a long way. They then dock the shuttle with the Ghost, and we see some Dejarik being played, and basically it turns into The Boy Who Cried Wolf as AP-5 pleads his case of how Chopper's compromised, and everyone just ignores AP-5. Chopper then tricks the Ghost crew to go into the main bay area and basically locks them in. The ISB, through Chopper, uses a spike to extract the nav computer so they can find the Rebel base. After Hera manages to save the crew through a manual override so they don't get sucked out into space, AP-5 is sent outside to do another override that's on the hull of the Ghost. AP-5 is successful, but drifts off into space, and then Zeb takes out Chopper, and fortunately the transfer didn't complete. This is where it got a little too convenient for me in the episode. Hera sends feedback back through Chopper, which was connected to the listening ship, which somehow overloads the ISB's systems and blows up their entire ship. I thought it was a little ridiculous and wrapped things up in a bow a little too nicely. If it was me, I would have, had the transfer of the data maybe been corrupted, because they did get some, and it said that, it wasn't complete. And then through some hardcore investigating and, maybe Thrawn's wits, they would have found a small clue, which Thrawn would use in a later episode to find their base, which we see in one of the trailers. I thought it would have been a lot more realistic than Hera just killing them out, killing them all. It just seems that the ship of that size, would have had some kind of like powered surge protector or something similar, but whatever. And then this happens.
It's easy to see I fit perfectly in this wonderful, beautiful.
So, I'm not sure what to say about that. I know what they were trying to do here, and I think they could have accomplished that with just the first part of the scene of AP5 enjoying the peace and quiet and tranquility. But really, would AP5 burst into song? In my opinion, it wasn't needed, and it seemed like a gimmick, and you could have accomplished it without the song. So before I talk about overall impressions of the episode, I first want to play a short clip and listen to what the executive producer of Star Wars Rebels has to say about this episode.
It's this very bizarre moment, but with these episodes, I think you want to go weird. Half the audience will call them filler. I know that now.
Okay, so I'm somewhat in the middle on this. In my previous video of Rebels, I was worried that this would happen. This episode wasn't 100% filler episode, but if you were just to skip this episode, you would be fine and wouldn't miss anything critical to the overall story arc. That's why I kind of wanted my kind of story arc to work, where the data would be corrupted, but they would somehow find a small piece, a small clue, kind of breadcrumb that Thrawn would use to find the base. But if it's literally just they blew up and killed everyone on the ship and that's it, you can literally skip this episode. And I get what Dave in the clip, like what he's saying, and I'm all for weird and exploring new things in Star Wars and Star Wars Rebels, because they've done some cool things already. But I would say that after watching this episode, I just wasn't super fulfilled. It just wasn't as fulfilling. This episode for me had a few cool elements. I liked exploring the ISB and seeing the cyborg enhancements again. There were a few funny lines, especially Zeb's zinger at the end, but overall it was below average for a Rebels episode for me. It was off pace from all the other episodes, and we recently did a droid episode in Warhead just a couple episodes ago. Also, I wasn't a huge fan of Wedge being the kind of primary human character for the first half of the episode, and then he just kind of disappears, and Hera basically flips and became kind of the main person of interest, while she becomes kind of crazy and then destroys their entire ship and all the people on board. So it just had a little bit too many flaws compared to other episodes, just for me. And I might be being a little harsh, but I just wanted to be fair and honest, not give everything a glowing review that comes out of Star Wars or Star Wars Rebels. But with that being said, there were some enjoyable parts, and we all know next week is going to be amazing.
Kenobi!
What do y'all think of the episode? Think it was awesome? Complete filler? Kind of in the middle like me? Let me know in the comment section below, and I'll see you on the next Star Wars lore.